Holy shit. Chen Qingdi woke up violently. He did not even come to open his eyes, and even more do not know where he is now. Directly burst the foul mouth. Bottom, the voice is loud and powerful. Immortal pills for the first time. The damn calamity descends, life and death ahead, may die at any time. This was the first thought Chen Qingdi had when he woke up, and it was also the last thought he had after he fell into a coma. Chen Qingdi clenched his fists, and quickly opened his eyes to resist the damn tribulation. However, the scene in front of him horrified him. At the same time, a pungent breath that came to his nose. What is going on here? Chen Qingdi suddenly found that the scene in front of him had changed, and it was in the middle of an extremely unfamiliar room, filled with the pungent smell of medicine. At his side, surrounded by several men in strange white coats, all staring at themselves with wide eyes and eyes surprisingly full of contempt. Holy shit. Another "I fuck" from the mouth of Chen Qingdi popped out, the voice sharp, still a little frightened, and then, he quickly stretched out his hands, covering the object in the crotch. What is going on? After years of preparation to refine an immortal elixir, the Dan tribulation suddenly descended. Was I in the middle of the Dan tribulation? How come I am here? And naked, being observed by a group of men. All of them despise me. Am I a bad capital? Despise you. Can you do it without despising you? You damn when you were sent to the hospital for resuscitation, just wrapped in a bed sheet, nothing else, do not need to think to know, you are in a coma before, what? Moreover, this is exactly the style of your Ch1&2, Chen Qingdi. Now woke up, but directly shouted "I fuck," called so loud, the kind of momentum, really is easy to change the nature of the mountain hard to change. Do that thing, just do it, with the need to shout slogans to cheer? A crowd of doctors, authorities, experts and professors in white coats were bayatching. Before Chen Qingdi could react to what was going on, a young doctor, who began holding instruments that were extremely strange and weird, and quickly examined him. Afterwards, this young doctor, full of shock and surprise, said, "Young Master Chen, except for your weakness, all other indicators are normal. However, for safety's sake, we have to do a detailed examination for young Master Chen. Ch1&2. How come my title has been lowered so much all of a sudden? Which one of you, when you see me, don't you treat me like an old ancestor?" Chen Qingdi, who was on the hospital bed, rolled his eyes. Chen Qingdi's memory at the moment was still stuck before he was blasted into powder by the Dan tribulation and lost consciousness. Well, it can also be said that it is stuck on the memory of his previous life. Chen Qingdi is a cultivator. His cultivation level in his original cultivation world can only be considered moderately low level, but his fame in the cultivation world is no one knows no one. Master of alchemy, master of alchemy, master of talisman, master of formation. In any of these fields, Chen Qingdi has achieved an achievement that makes it impossible for people to cross over. In his original cultivation world, almost all cultivators offered him as an old ancestor. No way, who let people Chen Qingdi besides cultivation, simply all-round demon. It is also because Chen Qingdi is intoxicated on top of alchemy, refining weapons, etc., but did not pay too much attention to cultivation. In the end, Chen Qingdi, with a late gene in cultivation, succeeded in refining an immortal pill. Immortal pills such as high-level goods. As not a small 8-dan kid can refine out. However, Chen Qingdi succeeded, literally succeeded. Because of Chen Qingdi's success, things became big all of a sudden. Immortal pills are not that easy to refine. Even if you succeed in refining it, how can a small 8-dan formation cultivation be a match for the Dan tribulation? The moment the immortal pill came out of the furnace, the Dan tribulation arrived in vain, and just the first Dan tribulation directly blew Chen Qingdi to pieces. Dan was destroyed and his body was martyred. As for the moment Chen Qingdi woke up, he cursed the fuck out of me, purely because he was cursing the Dan tribulation for being too awesome and directly blasting his flesh into powder. I have been blown into powder, do not take me to curse, then to little awe. Do you guys need to despise Laozi so much? And Chen Qingdi second foul-mouthed purely because he was stripped naked, but also by a group of strangely dressed men to observe, if it is anyone else can, not stand awe. Young Chen, please put on your hospital gown. While Chen Qingdi was in awe, a young female nurse, who brought the same strange clothes, placed them by the bed. At the same time, the female nurse's eyes were filled with disgust without adding any disguise. Did I do something wrong to her? How dare she look at me with such eyes? But this woman, she is really open, I am not wearing anything. While slandering, Chen Qingdi quickly dressed, then laid down on a bed and was pushed out. Just after being pushed out, I saw a young woman, who looked like she was in her early 30s, rushing over incomparably nervous, pulling Chen Qingdi's hand and saying excitedly, "Son, are you okay? You scared your mother to death. Son. Mom." Chen Qingdi's whole body shook, and he couldn't help but shiver, and his face became even paler. An unfamiliar memory suddenly rushed out from the bottom of his heart. Information from memories that did not belong to him flooded into his mind like a flood. Chen Qingdi froze as if he had been struck by an extinguishing heavenly tribulation. Strange memories. Strange places. Strange clothes. Chen Qingdi finally realized with some hindsight that he had taken his own body and was reborn. According to the unfamiliar memories, he knew that this was a place called Earth, and did not belong to his original world. But this is too fucked up. Chen Qingdi stared at his eyes froze for a while, but did not understand exactly why. Rebirth. Well, that should also be in the original world. I had to run to Earth. Also, how does this guy mix? His body can be weak like this. Son, how are you? Don't he ever scare mommy? The young woman saw Chen Qingdi's face became more ugly, tears could not stop flowing down, and then shouted, Doctor, doctor, quickly. I am fine. Chen Qingdi shook his head and said breathlessly. Strange memories let him know that the woman in front of him was indeed his mother. Well, specifically, it was the mother of this body, Qingdi. Mom, I have said that big brother will be lucky, and will be fine. At this moment, a teenager, about 17 or 18 years old, came over and said with an excited face, Big brother, it is great that you are okay. The young man is handsome, red lips and white teeth, clear eyebrows, in the excitement of the situation, still oozing elegance and nobility, and there is no hint of the dude. He is none other than Chen Qingdi's second brother, Chen Fengrand. In the memory that Chen Qingdi received, this second brother has never been to his horse's head. He went out to play with women, the second brother put the win for him. No matter what it is, the second brother will be extremely defensive and intercede for him. However, Chen Qingdi, caught a hint of gloom and shock from Chen Fengrand's excited eyes. It seems to be saying that Chen Qingdi should not be able to survive in general. Chen Fengrand hidden extremely deep, if the original Chen Qingdi, that is never found. However, the current Chen Qingdi is not the original Chen Qingdi, although the cultivation is gone, but the eyesight is still there. Look, it's that the Chen family, Chen Qingdi. When he was brought into the hospital, he was just wrapped in a bed sheet. Must have been on the belly of some woman, overplayed and passed out from playing, really admired. As the saying goes, the peony dies under the flower, and the ghost also has a good flow. Is not the young Chen still alive and well? Chen Daxiao is definitely a model for my generation model. Expert authorities have said it is hopeless. The Chen family donated 100 million to the hospital agreed to save the treatment, did not expect that it was really saved. Really good people do not live long, the scourge of 1,000 years awe. The crowd's discussion, spare Chen Qingdi is also red in the face. Scum ah scum, although I am not a good person, but also walk right, sit straight, how did you fall for this garbage goods body ah? Fortunately, Chen Qingdi is strong-minded, and has died once, otherwise, he really wants to wipe his neck directly to kill himself. What a disgrace. This bad thing to do, heaven forbid the goods, even die, all die on the belly of a woman. He is playing with women, to the critical moment, and I do not know what the reason is, suddenly unconscious. The goods were taken to the hospital when the rescue, naked, but also just wrapped in a hotel bed sheet, covering the key parts, but otherwise nothing else. Disgraceful. What do you mean by embarrassment? See, who the hell has such a realm, and throws people to such heights? The only thing that is available, is this one. Next Chen Qingdi did a series of tests. The results, except for the body bone is too weak, there is no problem in other areas. The body bone is weak, but also completely because the original Chen Qingdi overindulged in sex, was emptied of the body. What depresses Chen Qingdi is that when those female nurses see him, some of them are like seeing the god of plague, and they run away, some of them have glowing eyes, sending glances and winks, and they almost didn't climb into bed directly. Seeing this, Chen Qingdi could not help but bayaching again, am I that terrible? I am a random person. The hospital's top ward, Qingdi and Chen Fengrand had something to leave one after another, and Chen Qingdi could not help but grasp, despise, admire, and be very complicated after finishing and absorbing the strange memories he had received. And at this time, there were two young female nurses, who reluctantly came outside Chen Qingdi's ward, full of disgust and aggravation. There are so many people not to choose, why let us two come to deliver medicine ah, just Chen Qingdi that scum, if we go in, do not know what he will do out. Yes, because the Chen family is so big and powerful, there are no telling how many girls he has forcibly spoiled. Such scum, how come they did not die directly on the belly of that woman all? Forget it, don't complain, we can only hope that the scumbag is incapable of recovering from a serious illness, or Qingdi's sisters. You two have such a good opportunity to complain, if you don't want to go in, I will have to go in, young Chen is very generous. A third female nurse quickly walked over. Then thank you so much, here you go. The two female nurses from earlier, after handing the tray and the medication to the later female nurse, turned around and ran away as if they had been pardoned. Chen Qingdi, who was inside the ward, laughed bitterly when he heard the whispered comments of the female nurses outside. "Young Chen, it is time to take your medicine." At this moment, a female nurse holding a tray, with good posture, pushed open the door and walked in. The female nurse walked towards Chen Qingdi with sexy steps, twisting her buttocks and smiling winks. Chen Qingdi now, in addition to the body is too weak, cultivation is lost, eyesight, memory that is very sharp, instantly recognized that this female nurse is one of the female nurses, who threw winks at him before, hate to climb into bed. The female nurse appeared in this enchanting posture, and it is not necessary to think that this female nurse is looking for her money, and is here to climb into bed. Chen Qingdi smiled bitterly, this is all tired by this stinky skin off. The original Chen Qingdi is the Chen family head, Chen Zhenhui's eldest son, a notorious playboy, dabbling in flowers, bad things to do, mixed with food and other scourges on earth super dude. The women this guy has played with, are able to form a reinforced company. And among the women he has played with, there are those who look at his status, those who look at his money, and some who are forced by him. In short, as long as the woman he sees, almost no one can escape. He is, this year, only 18 years old. Good boy, only 18 years old. On top of playing women have such a record, Chen Qingdi really admired the 5 bodies to the ground. Although I am not a good person, but at least did not force others all those women voluntarily. Simply put, Chen Qingdi is a human scum. If he were a woman, he would definitely be a watery goods. It is also Chen Zhenhui's eldest son. Chen Zhenhui is determined to train him as his successor, but things are not as they should be, but Chen Qingdi is proficient in everything except good things. And his mother, Gu Qianqin, is extremely doting on him, no matter how big the trouble, no matter what it is, Gu Qianqin will set things right for him, which makes him become lawless and carefree. Hey Gu, I didn't think you'd still get the jump on me. 3 more female nurses pushed open the door and walked in, daddy voices chirping, one more open than the other. When the first female nurse saw her sisters grabbing work, she directly threw the tray aside and decisively climbed onto Chen Qingdi's bed. The other 3 female nurses were also not willing to show their weakness, scrambling to the bed first and groping Chen Qingdi. Some even took off their nursing uniforms directly. If it is replaced by the previous Chen Qingdi, will certainly be pleased with the dragoness face. Each person tens of thousands of reward money is not less. As for doing that thing, Chen Xiao is not going to do. To his identity, of course, not to see these black fungus. Get out. Chen Qingdi bellowed. The 4 female nurses, who were selling sluts, froze in unison, and the movements of their hands all stopped, however, still placed on Chen Qingdi's body. Young Chen, what is wrong with you? Oh. I see. One of the female nurses made a smart move, and pulled out a few pills from the nurse's uniform that was thrown to the side. Smiling delicately, said, medicine, long prepared for young Master Chen, will certainly make young Master Chen brave and invincible, Maz. Q line, plummeting, making the 4 of us sisters beg for mercy. The feeling is that this female nurse thinks that Chen Qingdi is very sick, the thing does not work, and she has prepared beforehand. The other 3 female nurses, when they saw that someone had taken out the pills, they all gave up the intention of taking the pills as well. These 4 female nurses can be prepared. Boom. 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 Chen Qingdi rolled his eyes, and with 4 muffled sounds, 4 female nurses were kicked off the bed by him in unison. The good points were not fished, but also have been kicked out of bed. The female nurses quickly dressed, very resentful, and quickly left the ward. What kind of decent man is he pretending to be? Who does he know what kind of goods he is, Chen Qingdi, to treat us like this and pretend to be noble in front of us? And do not see what he was sent to the hospital for resuscitation. It is not in which woman's belly overindulgence will be like this. You can do it yourself, so you take it out on us. That is, if he is not generous, not for money. 4 female nurses left the ward are very aggrieved, dissatisfied, contemptuous whispered, listened to Chen Qingdi rolled his eyes and laughed bitterly. Buddy you say you how I hey. Chen Qingdi sighed, hated, grabbed the quilt to cover his head and face. This broken skin, broken reputation, how much cursing will have to be done in the future. However, God has so arranged, in the same name and surname, I will barely live a life for you. Hey, Chen Qingdi, who was lying on the hospital bed, sighed, but his eyes were shining with a brilliant aura. Unconsciousness for no reason. On the verge of death. Certain death. Chen Qingdi frowned and said in his heart, everywhere this is filled with many suspicions, it seems that someone wants this buddy to die. Well, it should be me now. The original Chen Qingdi was dead, but the Chen Qingdi who was blasted into powder by the Dan tribulation crossed over at this time and the Chen Qingdi lived. In this way, the person who wanted Chen Qingdi to die would definitely not let him go. Chen Qingdi cannot tell the people who want him dead, you must not misunderstand, I'm not the original one, I'm the one who came through. If this is set out, will not be treated as crazy, neurotic to deal with the strange. Even if Chen Qingdi wanted to say it, he didn't know who it was that wanted him dead. The enemy is in the dark and he is in the light. Chen Qingdi dislikes this feeling, so he wants to uncover the murderer. For the original Chen Qingdi revenge, or in order to be able to live, the real culprit behind the curtain, Chen Qingdi will never let go. In this buddy's memory, the second brother Chen Feng ran everywhere to protect this buddy, to this buddy's head. But why see me wake up, the depths of his eyes will have that kind of reaction. Should be happy to all. Could it be that? Chen Qingdi's brow wrinkled even tighter and turned into a Chuan character.